Welcome to Power Electronics lecture series. In this lecture, we are going to discuss complete first unit in Power Electronics subject, that is power semiconductor devices and commutation circuits. Okay, these are the major concepts we are going to concentrate. In that, first concept is definition of power electronics and types of power converters. Second one is working and characteristics of SCRs, and third one is concept and types of triggering and commutation methods. Fourth one is series and parallel connections of SCR, and finally types and characteristics of power diodes. Okay, these are the major concepts in the first unit in power electronics. Now we are going to discuss each and every topic in detail. Coming to power electronics, generally power electronics is the combination of three types of engineerings. In that, first one is the power engineering or electrical engineering, second one is the electronics engineering, third one is the control engineering. By knowing these three types of engineerings, we can get the idea about power electronics. Now we are going to discuss about each and every type of engineering. Coming to concept of power engineering or electrical engineering, this is simply electrical and electronics branch in BTech course. It is defined as the engineering which deals with high amount of electrical power generation, transmission, distribution, utilization, and also deals with the high power equipments. Here high power equipments are nothing but motors, generators, transformers, etc. By using these high power equipments only, it can possible to generate the electrical power. This engineering deals with the electrical power and high power equipments for generating that electrical power. That is nothing but power engineering or electrical engineering. Coming to electronics engineering, this is simply electronics and communication engineering in BTech course. It is defined as the engineering which deals with low amount of power equipments. The examples for low power equipments are power semiconductor devices. Those are nothing but diodes, BJTs, MOSFETs, IGBTs, etc. In this engineering, that is electronics and communication engineering, we mainly concentrate on power semiconductor devices working and characteristics. That is nothing but electronics engineering. Coming to control engineering, the engineering which deals with static and dynamic characteristics of electrical equipments or electrical systems is nothing but control engineering. The examples for control systems are analog and digital systems. By using above analysis, we are going to frame the definition for power electronics. That is defined as the application of solid state electronics for control and conversion of electrical energy is the definition for power electronics. We already discussed about power electronics is the combination of three types of engineerings. In this, we are having three types of engineerings. That is, here solid state electronics comes under electronics engineering, and control comes under control engineering, and conversion of electrical energy comes under electrical engineering or power engineering. So this is the definition of power electronics by using above analysis. Coming to use of power electronics subject in BTech course. This subject, power electronics, is one of the major subject in 4-year BTech course, especially for EEE students. For EEE students, this subject is very important. Why? Because in GATE exam they will get 8 to 10 marks from this subject. And second one is, without power electronics concept, there is no mini and major projects in BTech. That is nearly 90% of the topic, that is mini and major projects topics having the concepts of power electronics. That's why we are going to concentrate this subject, power electronics subject. to now we discussed about what is power electronics and what is the use of power electronics subject in BTech course. Now we are going to concentrate on converter. What is converter? What are the different types of converters? Here converter is nothing but it is a circuit which converts one form of electrical quantity to another form of electrical quantity. That is simply it is a circuit. Converter is a circuit which converts one form of electrical quantity to another form of electrical quantity. Here electrical quantity is nothing but either voltage, current or power. It is a circuit which converts one form of voltage to another form of voltage, or one form of current to another form of current, or one form of power to another form of power. That is nothing but concept of converter. Now depending upon the type of the conversion, this converter circuits is classified into 5 types. These are the types of converters. In that, first one is a rectifier, second one is AC voltage regulator, third one is the cycloconverter, fourth one is a chopper, and fifth one is a inverter. Now we are going to discuss about each and every type of converter circuit. Coming to first one, that is rectifier. Rectifier is a circuit Rectifier is a circuit which converts AC voltage to DC voltage or pulsating DC voltage. That is, this is the rectifier circuit. For this circuit, we are going to apply the AC voltage as a input. Then we are going to get the DC voltage or pulsating DC voltage as the output. This is the waveform for AC voltage. We are going to give this waveform to the rectifier circuit as a input. Then we are going to get this waveform. That is, this waveform is the DC waveform. So this is a circuit. Rectifier is a circuit which converts AC voltage to DC or pulsating DC voltage. Coming to second type of converter, that is AC voltage regulator. AC voltage regulator is a circuit which converts fixed AC voltage to variable AC voltage at fixed frequency. That is nothing but the frequency at the input and frequency at the output is constant. Means we are maintaining the frequency is same, but we are going to convert fixed AC voltage to variable AC voltage. That is the concept of AC voltage regulator. Coming to third type of converter, that is cycloconverter. Cycloconverter is a circuit which converts fixed AC voltage at fixed frequency to variable AC voltage at variable frequency. The concept of AC voltage regulator and cycloconverter both are same, which converts fixed AC voltage to variable AC voltage. But in case of AC voltage regulator, we are maintaining the frequency as constant. At input as well as output. But in case of cycloconverter, we are going to convert fixed AC voltage at fixed frequency to variable AC voltage at variable frequency. Means here frequency is variable. That is the difference between AC voltage regulator and cycloconverter. Next type of converter is chopper. The concept of chopper is very simple. That is, chopper is a circuit which converts fixed DC voltage to variable DC voltage. That's the concept of chopper. Here fixed DC voltage means the voltage which is having the constant magnitude. This is the waveform for DC voltage which is given to the chopper circuit as the input. And we are going to get the variable DC voltage. Variable DC means we are going to get like this. Variable DC voltage. This is the waveform for variable DC voltage, and this is the output of this chopper circuit. So chopper is a circuit which converts fixed DC voltage to variable DC voltage. These are the waveforms for fixed DC voltage, and this is the waveform for variable DC voltage. Coming to last type of converter, that is inverter. Inverter is exactly opposite to the rectifier. In rectifier we are going to convert the AC voltage to DC voltage or pulsating DC voltage. Rectifier is a circuit which converts AC voltage to DC voltage or pulsating DC voltage. This inverter is exactly opposite to this process. That is, inverter is a circuit which converts DC voltage to AC voltage. That is, for this we are going to give the DC voltage as the input of this circuit. Inverter circuit, we are going to get the AC voltage as the output of the inverter circuit. Okay, that is the concept of inverter circuit. That is about the concept of converter and different types of converter circuits. Now we are going to discuss about different types of power semiconductor devices. This concept is very important in gate point of view. Very important in gate point of view. Try to concentrate. Okay. Depending upon the control strategies, these power semiconductor devices are mainly classified into three types. In that, first one is a control on and control off. Means by using some control parameters or control variables, we are going to turn on and we are going to turn off the power semiconductor devices. The examples for this one is BJT, MOSFET, IGBT, etc. And coming to second one is exactly opposite to the first one. That is uncontrolled on and uncontrolled off. The example for this type is diode. And similarly coming to third one, that is controlled on and uncontrolled off power semiconductor device. The example for this one is SCR, that is silicon control rectifier. This is also known as thyristor. Okay, this is the classification of power semiconductor devices depending upon the control strategies. Those are classified into three types. First one is the control on and control off. Second one is the uncontrolled on, uncontrolled off. Third one is the control on, uncontrolled off. Now we are going to discuss about SCR, that is silicon control rectifier. Total power electronic subject is depends upon the working of SCR. So try to concentrate more. SCR is the example for control on and uncontrolled off power semiconductor device, and it is also known as thyristor. Coming to construction of SCR, SCR is a 4-layer, 3-terminal, 3-junction power semiconductor switching device. Coming to electrical symbol and construction, SCR is a 4-layer, 3-terminal, 3-junction power semiconductor device. Okay, these are the 4 layers of SCR, that is P, N, P, N are the 4 layers and 3 terminals. This is one terminal, this is second one, and this is the third terminal, and 3 junctions. This is first junction, and this is the second junction, and this is the third junction. So it is a 4-layer, 3-terminal, 3-junction power semiconductor device. The terminal which is connected to the upper P layer is called the anode, and the terminal which is connected to the lower N layer, the terminal which is connected to the lower N layer is called the cathode, and terminal which is connected to the lower P layer is called the gate. So these are the 3 terminals of SCR, and these two are the electrical symbols for SCR. Okay, both the symbols are correct. The difference between these two symbols are, here gate terminal is connected like this, In this gate terminal is connected like this. That's the difference between these two electrical symbols. Here the electrical symbol for SCR is same as the PN junction diode, but PN junction having only anode and cathode. SCR having extra terminal is gate, that is along with anode and cathode. SCR having the gate terminal. That's the difference between PN junction diode and SCR. This is the introduction of SCR, working of silicon control rectifier. This is very simple and very easy concept. These are the main outcomes from this tutorial. That is, in this we are going to discuss about what is SCR and what is the construction and electrical symbol of SCR and what is the working of SCR and what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of SCR. Coming to what is SCR, SCR is a silicon control rectifier. It is the example for control on and uncontrol of power semiconductor device, and it is also known as thyristor. Coming to construction, it is a 4-layer, 3-terminal, 3-junction power semiconductor device. This is the construction of SCR and these two are the electrical symbols of SCR. Here these are the 4 layers, that is P, N, P, N. These are the 4 layers and these are the 3 terminals, that is this is 1 terminal and this is 2nd terminal and this is the 3rd terminal. The terminal which is connected to upper P layer, terminal which is connected to upper P layer is called anode, and the terminal which is connected to lower N layer is called cathode, and terminal which is connected to lower P layer is called gate. And these are the 3 junctions, that is J1, J2 and J3. These are the 3 junctions. So it is a 4-layer, 3-terminal, 3-junction power semiconductor device, and these two are the electrical symbols for SCR. That is same as the diode construction is like this. Okay, diode having 2 terminals, that is only anode and cathode. Coming to SCR having one more extra terminal, that is the gate. This gate terminal may be connected like this or we can connect like this. Okay, these are the same, these two electrical symbols are same, we can use any one symbol. This is about construction and electrical symbol of SCR. Coming to working of SCR, the working of SCR can be explained in 3 operating modes. Those are, first one is the reverse blocking mode, second one is forward blocking mode, third one is the forward conducting mode. Now we are going to discuss about what is the behavior of SCR in these 3 operating modes. That is, concept is very simple. Coming to first operating mode, that is reverse blocking mode. In reverse blocking mode, we are going to apply the negative voltage across anode and cathode. That is nothing but anode is negative and cathode is positive. And we know in P layer the majority charge carriers are holes. That is positive charge carriers. In N layer the majority charge carriers are electrons. That is negative charge carriers. Similarly in P layer positive, that is nothing but holes, and in layer negative, that is electrons. Now we are going to find out the behavior of these 3 junctions. That is, due to the positive charge carriers and anode is negative, so there is a attractive force between these 2 charge carriers, means holes which are present in the P layer moving upwards. Similarly, these are the electrons and these are the holes. So there is an attractive force between these 2 charge carriers. Similarly, N layer having the negative and cathode is the positive. There is an attractive force between these 2 charge carriers. Means electrons which are present in the N layer going to move downwards. Now, if we observe the width of junction J1, the width of junction J1 is increases. Why? Because holes are moving upwards and electrons are moving downwards. So width of junction J1 is increases. The width is increases means it does not allow the flowing of current through this junction. So junction J1 is in reverse bias, which is act as a open circuit. Similarly here, electrons in N layer and holes in P layer gets attracted. So the width of junction J2 is decreases, which is comes into forward bias, act as a short circuit. Similarly, the width of junction J3 is increases, which is in reverse bias and act as a open circuit. Due to the open circuit of junction J1 and junction J3, there is no possibility of moving the current from cathode to anode. But there is a possibility for small reverse leakage current of the order of nanoamperes, which is moves from cathode to anode. In this case, SCR act as a open switch. SCR act as a open switch. That is the first operating mode, that is reverse blocking mode. Coming to second operating mode, that is forward blocking mode. In this mode, we are going to apply the positive voltage between anode and cathode. In previous case, we applied the negative voltage between anode and cathode. But in this case, we are going to apply the positive voltage between anode and cathode. That is, anode is positive and cathode is negative. We already know these layers, that is P layer having the majority charge carriers are holes, and this N layer having the majority charge carriers are electrons. Again P layer are holes, N layer having the majority charge carriers are electrons. Now we are going to analyze the behavior of these three junctions. Depending upon the behavior of these three junctions, we can conclude that SCR is in open switch or closed switch. Now here anode is positive and this P layer having the electron, that is holes are the majority charge carriers, means these two are the same charges. So there is a repulsive force between these two charge carriers, means holes which are present in this P layer trying to move downwards, means trying to cross the junction J1, and electrons which are present in this N layer attracted by these holes, means these electrons trying to cross the junction J1. So the width of junction J1 is decreases and junction J1 comes into forward bias and act as a short circuit. Similarly, this layer, this P layer having the majority charge carriers are holes, and here electrons, the electrons in this layer going to attracted by these holes. So here these holes going to attracted by these electrons. Why? Because here cathode having the negative polarity. So there is a repulsive force between this negative polarity and these negative charges. So these electrons going to attracted by these holes. So junction J3, the width of junction J3 also decreases and it comes into forward bias, which is act as a short circuit. Now coming to junction J2, here electrons are moving upwards and holes are moving downwards. So the width of junction J2 is increases. The width of junction J2 is increases, which does not allow the flowing of current through this junction. So junction J2 is in reverse bias, which is act as a open circuit. Here junctions J1 and junctions J3 are in forward bias, but junction J2 is in reverse bias. Due to this reverse biased junction, there is no possibility for current for moving from anode to cathode. But due to the minority charge carriers, small amount of forward leakage current of the order of microamperes can flows from anode to cathode. In this case also SCR act as a open switch. This is the second operating mode, that is forward blocking mode. Coming to third operating mode, that is forward conducting mode. In this mode also, we are going to apply the positive voltage across anode and cathode. That is nothing but anode is positive and cathode is negative. Same as second operating mode, that is forward blocking mode. Due to the application of positive voltage across anode and cathode, junctions J1 and J3 are in forward bias, which are act as a short circuit. Now we are going to concentrate on junction J2, that is the width of junction J2. In this case, we are going to increase the voltage between anode and cathode, or by keeping the voltage between anode and cathode is constant by using some external voltage source which is connected to gate terminal. We are going to inject the charge carriers at junction J2. At particular value of external voltage, the width of junction J2 is going to decrease, and at particular voltage value, junction J2, the width of junction J2 is decreases, and finally it comes into forward bias, which is act as a short circuit. Here all three junctions act as a short circuit which are in forward bias. So there is a possibility of current which is flows from anode to cathode. Means in this case, SCR act as a closed switch and allows the large amount of current from anode to cathode. That is the behavior of SCR in third operating mode, that is forward conducting mode. That is in first operating mode, that is reverse blocking mode, SCR act as a open switch and it allows the very small reverse leakage current of the order of nanoseconds. In second operating mode, that is forward blocking mode, in this mode also SCR act as a open switch which allows the small amount of forward leakage current of the order of microamperes. But in third case, SCR act as a closed switch and it allows the large amount of current from anode to cathode. This is the three operating modes of working of SCR. Coming to advantages of SCR, SCR having so many advantages, but these are the important advantages of SCR. That is, first one is the SCR can block high amount of voltages. That is, single SCR can block up to the voltage of 10 kilovolts. And second one is the SCR can allows the high amount of currents, means single SCR can allows the current up to 1 kilo amperes. Here voltage and current ratings are more, so the lifetime of SCR is large. And SCR is a fast acting switch, means within fraction of seconds SCR can turn on and turn off. And SCR can withstand, means the operating frequency of SCR is very high, that is up to 10 kHz SCR can withstand or SCR can operate. These are the some of the advantages of SCR. Coming to disadvantages of SCR, even though SCR having so many advantages, it having some disadvantages. In that first one is the forward voltage drop across the SCR is 1 to 2 volts. Means when SCR is in conducting state, the voltage drop across that SCR is 1 to 2 volts. If we consider diode, the forward voltage drop across the diode is 0.3 to 1 volt. So this is one of the disadvantages of SCR. And coming to second one, it requires the forced commutation for turning off the SCR. Here commutation is nothing but the process of turning off the SCR is nothing but commutation. It requires the forced commutation, that is nothing but it requires external circuit for turning off the SCR. Why? Because SCR is the example for control on and uncontrolled off. For turning off the SCR, we require some external circuit. We are using external circuit means the cost of the turning off process is more. So these two are the major disadvantages of SCR. About characteristics of SCR. In this tutorial, we are going to concentrate on these topics. That is, first one is use of characteristics, means what is the use of knowing the characteristics. And second one is the types of the characteristics. Third one is concept of elementary circuit diagram. Then static characteristics, concept of latching and holding currents. Next, dynamic characteristics and representation of static and dynamic characteristics. We are going to discuss about each and every topic in detail. Coming to use of characteristics, by knowing the characteristics, we can analyze the performance of any power semiconductor device. Not only power semiconductor device, we can analyze the performance of any equipment or any device. For example, by knowing the character of a human being, we can conclude that that person is a good person or bad person. Similarly, by knowing the characteristics of device or equipment, we can conclude that that device or that equipment is reliable or not. That's the use of knowing the characteristics. The SCR characteristics can be classified into two types. Okay, the characteristics of SCR can be classified into two types. Those are static VI characteristics and dynamic characteristics. Again, dynamic characteristics can be classified into two types. That is dynamic characteristics during turn on time of SCR and dynamic characteristics during turn off time of SCR. Now we are going to discuss about what's the difference between static and dynamic characteristics and what are the different types of characteristics during turn on period and turn off period of SCR. Coming to static VI characteristics, the name itself suggests the meaning of these type of characteristics. Here the meaning of static is constant, means the characteristics which are constant with respect to time are nothing but static VI characteristics. For obtaining these characteristics, we require one basic circuit diagram. That basic circuit diagram is called elementary circuit diagram. Like in elementary school, we are going to learn the basic knowledge. Okay, here also this elementary circuit diagram is the basic circuit diagram for obtaining the static VI characteristics. Coming to elementary circuit diagram, okay, this is the elementary circuit diagram. That is in this is the thyristor. Okay, that is anode and cathode of a thyristor are connected to the external voltage source through load. External voltage source through load, and gate terminal of thyristor is connected to one more voltage source EG through variable resistor RG and switch. That is the construction of elementary circuit diagram. Same is explained here. That is anode and cathode of a elementary circuit diagram is connected to voltage source through the load. That is anode, cathode connected to external voltage source through the load. Similarly, the gate terminal of elementary circuit diagram is connected to another voltage source through the switch and variable resistor. That is another voltage source is EG. This is connected to the gate terminal through variable resistor RG and switch S. Now by using elementary circuit diagram, we are going to obtain the static VI characteristics. Now consider case 1. In this case, we are going to keep the switches open and we are going to apply the negative voltage across anode and cathode. That is nothing but here this switch, we are going to keep this switch is open and we are going to apply the negative voltage between anode and cathode. By applying the negative voltage across anode and cathode, anode becomes negative and cathode becomes positive. Then the junctions J1 and J3 comes into reverse bias, which are act as a open circuit. Similarly, junction J2 comes into forward bias and which is act as a short circuit. Okay, this concept we already discussed in previous video, that is working of SCR. Due to the reversed biased junctions J1 and J3, there is no possibility for current for flowing from cathode to anode due to the open circuit of junctions J1 and J3. But due to the presence of minority charge carriers, there is a possibility for small amount of reverse leakage current of the order of nanoamperes which can flows from cathode to anode. Cathode to anode. Okay. If we further increase this negative voltage, at particular value of this negative voltage, the width of junction J1 and junction J3 decreases and comes into forward bias, means the junctions J1 and J3 breakdowns and comes into forward bias. This phenomenon means the voltage at which breakdown occurs at junctions J1 and J3 is called avalanche breakdown, and the voltage at which this avalanche breakdown occurs is called reverse breakdown voltage. Due to this reverse breakdown voltage, junctions J1 and J3 comes into forward bias. Due to the forward biased junctions, there is a possibility of high amount of reverse leakage current. There is a possibility for high amount of reverse leakage current which is flowing from cathode to anode. Due to this high amount of reverse current, there is a chance to damage the SCR. So we have to limit this high amount of reverse leakage current. This is about the case 1. Coming to case 2, in this case also we are going to keep the switches open, but we are going to apply the positive voltage across anode and cathode. That is, we are going to keep this switch. This switch is open and we are going to apply the positive voltage between anode and cathode. Due to the positive voltage, anode becomes positive and cathode becomes negative. Then junctions J1 and J3 are in forward bias, which are act as a short circuit, and junction J2 is in reverse bias, which is act as a open circuit. Due to the reverse biased junction J2, there is no possibility for current flowing from anode to cathode, but due to the presence of minority charge carriers, there is a possibility for small amount of forward leakage current of the order of microamperes which is flowing from anode to cathode. Okay, this is about second case. In second case, we are going to apply the positive voltage between anode and cathode by keeping the switches open. So there is a possibility for small amount of forward leakage current which is flowing from anode to cathode. Coming to third case, this case is somewhat interesting case. In this case also, we are going to apply the positive voltage across anode and cathode. After applying the positive voltage, by keeping the switches open, we are going to gradually increase this positive voltage across anode and cathode, or by keeping this positive voltage as constant, by closing this switch, we are going to inject the charge carriers. By using this external voltage source. By injecting charge carriers, by keeping the voltage between anode and cathode as constant, or by opening this switch, we are by gradually increasing the voltage between anode and cathode at particular voltage. The width of junction J2 is decreases and it finally comes into forward bias, which is act as a short circuit. The voltage at which the junction J2 comes into forward bias is called forward breakover voltage. Due to the short circuit of junction J2, there is a large amount of current. There is a possibility for large amount of current flowing from anode to cathode. Why? Because here all the junctions J1, J2 and J3, all the junctions act as a forward bias and short circuit. So there is a possibility for current which is flowing from anode to cathode, and SCR act as a closed switch. SCR act as a closed switch. That is about the three cases for drawing the static VI characteristics. Now by using this analysis, we are going to draw the static VI characteristics of SCR. This is the analysis of three cases. That is, in first case, we are going to apply the negative voltage. Okay, due to the application of negative voltage, we are going to get the small amount of reverse leakage current. If we increase this negative voltage at particular voltage value, we can get the increment in reverse leakage current, and in this case SCR act as a open circuit. Coming to second case, in second case we are going to apply the positive voltage. Due to the positive voltage, we are going to get the small amount of forward leakage current. In this case also SCR act as a open circuit. Now coming to third case. In third case, we are going to increase the voltage between anode and cathode, or by keeping this voltage as constant, by closing the switch S, we are going to injecting the charge carriers by using the external voltage source. Due to this, we are going to get the increment in forward leakage current at particular voltage. That voltage is called the forward breakover voltage. Means SCR starts conducting. SCR starts conducting means SCR is in short circuit condition. Under short circuit condition, the voltage value is negligible or zero, and current value is increases. Now by using this analysis, we are going to draw the static VI characteristics. Now we are going to draw the static VI characteristics by using above analysis. On x-axis we are going to take the voltage VA, on y-axis we are going to take the current, that is IA. In first case, we are going to apply the negative voltage. We are going to apply the negative voltage. Due to this negative voltage, we are going to get the negative current, that is small amount of reverse leakage current. That is, we are going to apply the voltage, so we are going to get the small amount of reverse leakage current. If we further increase this voltage at particular voltage, this current is suddenly increases. Okay, that voltage is called reverse breakdown voltage, that is VBR. That is, up to this voltage we are going to get very small amount of reverse leakage current. After reaching the breakdown voltage, after reaching this reverse breakdown voltage, this current is suddenly increases. This is about first case. In second case, we are going to apply the positive voltage. Due to this positive voltage, we are going to get the small amount of forward leakage current. Okay, due to the application of this voltage, this amount of forward leakage current we are going to get. If that is the second case. In third case, we are going to increase the voltage between anode and cathode. That is nothing, we are going to increase the forward voltage. By increasing this forward voltage at particular voltage, that is the forward breakover voltage, at particular voltage, the SCR starts conducting, means SCR act as a short circuit. Under short circuit condition, the voltage is decreases and current is increases. Depending upon this property, we are going to draw the third case waveforms. That is voltage. This voltage must be decreases and current must be increases. So by increasing this voltage, means voltage is decreases and current is increases. And after reaching the minimum value of voltage, this current is suddenly increases. Okay, that is, this is the decrement in voltage. That is, this axis is the voltage axis and this is the current axis. So there is decrement in voltage. Similarly, there is an increment in current. After reaching the minimum value of voltage, the current is increases. That is about static VI characteristics. In this, we are going to consider the concepts of latching current and holding current. Okay, this is the holding current, that is IH, and this is the latching current IL. latching current IL. Now we are going to discuss about what is the latching current and what is the holding current, what is the relation between these two. Coming to concept of holding current and latching current. Okay, these two concepts are very important and relation between these two also very important in gate point of view. Here holding current is represented as IH and it is defined as the minimum current required to turn off the SCR. Minimum current required to turn off the SCR is nothing but holding current. Similarly, the minimum current required to turn on the SCR is nothing but latching current. Here latching current is very much greater than the holding current. The relation between latching current and holding current is given as latching current IL is equal to 2 to 2.5 times of holding current, or latching current IL is equal to 2 to 3 times of holding current. In some textbooks we will get this relation and in some other textbooks we will get this relation. Both the relations are correct relations. That is the relation between latching current and holding current and concept of latching and holding currents. Similarly, coming to concept of forward breakover voltage and reverse breakdown voltage. Forward breakover voltage is defined as the forward voltage at which junction J2 comes into forward bias and SCR starts conducting is nothing but forward breakover voltage. It is defined as VB naught. Similarly, reverse breakdown voltage. The reverse voltage at which the breakdown occurs at junctions J1 and J3 and high amount of reverse current flows through the SCR is nothing but reverse breakdown voltage. These are the concepts of forward breakover and reverse breakdown voltages. That is about the static VI characteristics. Now we are going to discuss about dynamic characteristics of SCR. Before going to characteristics, first we have to know what is the meaning of dynamic characteristics. Dynamic is nothing but variable. The characteristics which does not constant with respect to time are nothing but dynamic characteristics. Or we can define dynamic characteristics as the determination of voltage across SCR, determination of voltage across SCR and current flowing through SCR during turn on and turn off periods of SCR is nothing but dynamic characteristics of SCR. These dynamic characteristics also known as transient characteristics or switching characteristics. Now we are going to discuss about different types of dynamic characteristics during turn on and turn off periods of SCR. First we are going to discuss about the dynamic characteristics during turn on time of SCR. Okay, before going to these characteristics, first we have to know what is the meaning of turn on time of SCR. Okay, this is defined as the time taken by the SCR. Turn on time of SCR is defined as the time taken by the SCR to change from forward blocking mode to forward conducting mode. Forward blocking mode to forward conducting mode, that is nothing but turn on time of SCR. Dynamic characteristics during turn on period of SCR can be classified into three types. Those are, first one is the delay time, second one is rise time and third one is the spread time. Now we are going to discuss about delay time, rise time and spread time in terms of anode current and anode voltage. Coming to delay time, the time taken by the anode current to rise from forward leakage current to 10% of the anode current. 10% of the maximum anode current is defined as delay time, that is in terms of anode current. Similarly, in terms of anode voltage, the time taken by the anode voltage to decrease from maximum value to 90% of the maximum value, that is nothing but delay time in terms of anode voltage. Similarly, coming to rise time, the time taken by the anode current to increase from 10% of maximum anode current to 90% of the maximum anode current, that is in terms of anode current. And coming to in terms of anode voltage, the time taken by the anode voltage to decrease from 90 percentage of VA to 10 percentage of VA. That is nothing but rise time in terms of both anode current and anode voltage. Similarly, coming to spread time, the time taken by the anode current to increase from 90 percentage of IA to maximum value of IA, that is 90 percentage of IA to IA, that is in terms of anode current. And coming to in terms of anode voltage, the time taken by the anode voltage to decrease from 10 percentage of VA to forward voltage drop. We know the forward voltage drop across SCR is 1 to 2 volts. That is, the spread time is defined as time taken by the anode voltage to decrease from 10 percentage of VA to forward voltage drop. Okay, these are the dynamic characteristics during turn on period of SCR. Now we are going to discuss about dynamic characteristics during turn off period of SCR. Dynamic characteristics during turn off period of SCR. Here turn off period is defined as time taken by the SCR to change from forward conducting mode to forward blocking mode is the turn off period of SCR. Now this point is very important, that is once SCR is in conducting mode, by applying some amount of reverse voltage only we can turn off the SCR. Why? Because SCR is a control on and uncontrol off, means by using some amount of reverse voltage only we are going to turn off the SCR. Okay. Now the dynamic characteristics during turn off period can be classified into two types. Those are, first one is the reverse recovery time, second one is the gate recovery time. Now we are going to discuss about reverse recovery and gate recovery times. Reverse recovery time is defined as the time taken by the anode current, to remove the charge carriers from the outer junctions J1 and J3. We are having thyristor like this. That is, it is a 4-layer. This is junction J1, J2 and J3. The time taken by the anode current to remove the charge carriers from the outer junctions J1 and J3 is nothing but reverse recovery time. And coming to gate recovery time, the time taken by the anode current to remove the charge carriers from middle junction J2 by using recombination process is nothing but gate recovery time. Here recombination process is nothing but adding the impurities, that is nothing but doping. By using doping process we are going to remove the charge carriers from junction J2, that is nothing but gate recovery time. These are the dynamic characteristics during turn off period of SCR. Now by using this analysis we are going to draw the dynamic characteristics. Now coming to dynamic characteristics, the characteristics which are changing with respect to time. So we are going to consider time on x-axis and we are going to determine the dynamic characteristics in terms of voltage and current. We are also going to draw the waveform for power. Okay, this power concept is very important in gate point of view. Now coming to dynamic characteristics during turn on period of SCR. Okay, we are having 3 times during turn on period of SCR. That is, first one is the delay time, second one is the rise time, third one is the spread time. Now coming to concept of delay time in terms of voltage. Okay, this is the 100 percentage of VA. Time taken by the anode voltage to decrease from 100 percentage to 90 percentage of VA. That is decrease. Anode voltage is decreased from 100 to 90 percentage. Similarly, in terms of anode current, time taken by the anode current to increase from forward leakage current to 10 percentage of IA. That is this thing. Okay, this is the forward leakage current, from forward leakage current to 10 percentage of IA. So this time is the delay time. Okay, this duration is the delay time. Similarly go for rise time and spread time. Coming to rise time, the time taken by the anode voltage to decrease from 90% to 10%, and time taken by the anode current to increase from 10% to 90%. That is, this is the rise time, which is represented as TR. Similarly, coming to spread time, time taken by the anode voltage to decrease from 10% to forward voltage drop, and time taken by the anode current to increase from 90% to maximum value. So this is the spread time. This is spread time TS. After that, SCR is in conducting mode, means current is maximum, which maintains the constant value, and voltage is minimum, that is forward voltage drop. Okay. Then by applying the reverse voltage, only we can make the SCR into off state. Whenever this reverse voltage reaches to maximum value, this current becomes 0. And due to the presence of charge carriers at junctions J1, J2 and J3, we are having current in negative direction. And at this moment, the charge carriers at junction J2, that is charge carriers at junction J1 and J3 gets removed. So this duration is called reverse recovery time. Okay. Still we are having the charge carriers at junction J2. Due to the charge carriers at junction J2, current is slowly decreases and finally it becomes 0. So this duration is called gate recovery time. Whenever this current reaches to 0, voltage also reaches to 0. That is, at this point current becomes 0, means SCR is in forward blocking mode. So current is forward leakage current and voltage is maximum. Okay, these are the characteristics during turn on period, and these are the characteristics during turn off period of SCR. Now coming to concept of power, during which duration the power losses are maximum across the SCR. If we consider during delay time, power is the product of voltage and current. If we consider during delay time voltage is maximum but current is minimum. So we are going to get the small amount of power loss during the delay time. During delay time we are going to get the small amount of power. Okay. If we consider rise time, current also maximum, voltage also maximum. So we are going to get the maximum power losses. Again, during spread time also voltage is minimum, current is maximum, means we are going to get the small amount of power losses. So during rise time only we are going to get the maximum amount of power losses. That is the concept of dynamic characteristics during turn on and turn off periods of SCR. I think everyone having that doubt. That is why initially we are going to consider voltage is maximum and current is minimum. That is very simple, ma. That is, this is the on time. On time means time taken by the SCR to change from forward blocking mode to forward conducting mode. Means initially SCR is in forward blocking mode. In forward blocking mode it acts as a open switch. Okay. Under open circuit condition, voltage value is maximum and current value is minimum. Due to this concept, initially we are going to consider voltage is 100% and current is forward leakage current. Okay, this is about characteristics of SCR. Triggering methods. Coming to learning objectives, after completing this tutorial, you will be able to know definition of triggering, different types of triggering methods, reliable method for all practical applications. Coming to definition of triggering, the process of turning on the SCR is known as triggering. When anode is positive and cathode is negative, that is this one, anode is positive and cathode is negative, here junctions J1 and J3 are in forward bias. J1 and J3 are in forward bias, which are act as a short circuit, and junction J2 is in reverse bias, which is act as a open circuit. Here this junction act as a open circuit. This concept we have already discussed in working of SCR. If you want to know the working of SCR, find the link which is in description. Due to this reverse biased junction J2, there is no flowing of current from anode to cathode, and SCR act as a off switch. By using following methods, we are going to make the reverse bias junction J2 into forward bias. If junction J2 is in forward bias means SCR starts conducting. Coming to types of triggering methods, these are mainly classified into 5 types. Those are, first one is the forward voltage triggering, then light or radiation triggering, third one is the temperature or thermal triggering, fourth one is the dV by dt triggering, and fifth one is gate triggering. Again, gate triggering classified into 3 types. Those are DC gate triggering, AC gate triggering, and pulse gate triggering. By using these methods, we are going to make the reverse biased junction J2 into forward bias, and we are going to make the SCR into conducting state. Coming to first method, that is forward voltage triggering method. Okay, here anode is positive and cathode is negative. So junctions J1 and J3 are in forward bias, junction J2 is in reverse bias. By using this method, we are going to decrease the width of junction J2, then we are going to make this junction into forward bias. Then SCR starts conducting. Okay, here in this method, we are going to increase the voltage between anode and cathode. Okay, by increasing the voltage between anode and cathode at particular voltage, the width of junction J2 is going to decrease. At particular voltage, the width of junction J2 is decreases, and finally it comes into forward bias. It comes into forward bias and act as a short circuit. So all the junctions, that is junction J1 and J2, J3 already are in forward bias. Here, by gradually increasing the voltage between anode and cathode, junction J2 also comes into forward bias. So all the 3 junctions are in forward bias. So there is a possibility of current which is flowing from anode to cathode. So SCR comes from forward blocking mode to forward conducting mode, and it starts conducting. This is about forward voltage triggering. Coming to second method, that is light or radiation triggering. This is very simple. That is, in this method, we are going to inject the high energy particles at the junction J2. This is our junction J2. Okay, we are going to inject the high energy particles, those are electrons and photons, at junction J2. By injecting these high energy particles, the width of junction J2 is going to decrease, and finally it comes into forward bias. Okay, that is, by injecting the high energy particles like electrons and photons, the width of junction J2 is decreases. If width is decreases, it comes into forward bias. If junction J2 comes into forward bias means SCR comes from forward blocking mode to forward conducting mode, and it starts conducting. That is about the second method, that is light or radiation triggering. Coming to third method, that is temperature or thermal triggering. The concept of this method is very simple. Whenever anode is positive and cathode is negative, junctions J1 and J3 are in forward bias, which are act as a short circuit. And junction J2 is in reverse bias, which is act as a open circuit. Due to the open circuit condition of junction J2, total applied voltage is going to appear across the junction J2. Okay, due to this applied voltage, the temperature of junction J2 is going to increase. Temperature of junction J2 going to increase. If we further increase the voltage, the junction temperature also further increases. By increasing the applied voltage, by increasing the magnitude of applied voltage, the temperature of this junction J2 is increases, and at particular value of junction temperature, the width of junction J2 is decreases, and finally junction J2 comes into forward bias. If junction J2 comes into forward bias means SCR starts conducting. SCR starts conducting. This is the concept of temperature or thermal triggering. Coming to fourth one, that is dV by dt triggering. Whenever anode is positive and cathode is negative, junctions J1 and J3 are in forward bias, which are act as a short circuit, and junction J2 is in reverse bias, which is act as a open circuit. And this reverse biased junction J2 having the characteristics of capacitance, and we know properties of capacitance. Capacitance does not allow sudden changes in voltage. Consider small parameters for analyzing dV by dt triggering. That is, let Cj be the junction capacitance. Q is the charges across junction J2. Ic is the charging current. Similarly, V is the junction voltage. Now, by using these parameters, we are going to derive small formula. Depending upon that formula, we are going to define the dV by dt triggering. We know formula for capacitance C, that is C is equal to Q by V. We are considering junction parameters, so consider Cj, junction capacitance Cj is equal to Q by V. From that, consider Q value, that is Q is equal to V into Cj. We know formula for current, that is current is nothing but rate of change of charge. So consider charging current Ic is equal to rate of change of charge, that is nothing but dq by dt. Now in place of Q, substitute this value, that is V into Cj, and apply the differentiation. By applying differentiation, we are going to get V into dCj by dt plus Cj into dV by dt. Here Cj, junction capacitance is the constant. The derivative of constant value is 0. So this entire term becomes the 0. Then finally we are getting Ic, charging current Ic is equal to Cj into dV by dt. Okay, from this expression we are going to conclude that dV by dt triggering, that is, by increasing the dV by dt rating, we are going to increase the charging current. Means the current flowing through anode to cathode is increases. Means SCR comes from forward blocking mode to forward conducting mode, and it is in conducting mode. Means there is a flowing of current from anode to cathode. So we can conclude that SCR is in conducting mode. This is about the dV by dt triggering. Coming to fifth method, that is gate triggering. Okay, in this method, by using some external voltage at gate terminal, we are going to turn on the SCR. Gate triggering is nothing but by using some external voltage source at gate terminal, we are going to turn on the SCR. Now, depending upon the external source, depending upon the type of the external source, gate triggering method is classified into three types. Those are, first one is the DC gate triggering, second one is the AC gate triggering, and third one is the pulse gate triggering. Now we are going to discuss about these types of triggering methods. Coming to DC gate triggering, in this method by using some DC voltage source, at gate terminal, we are going to turn on the SCR. In this we are having some disadvantage, that is in this method there is no isolation between the power circuit as well as gate circuit. Here power circuit is nothing but the circuit which is consisting of anode and cathode is nothing but power circuit, and circuit which is consisting of gate and cathode is nothing but gate circuit. Okay, in DC gate triggering there is no isolation between these two circuits, means there is no isolation, means SCR may get damaged. Okay, that is the disadvantage of DC gate triggering. Coming to second type of gate triggering, that is AC gate triggering. The disadvantage in DC gate triggering can be overcome by using AC gate triggering. In this, by using the isolation transformer at the gate terminal, we are going to turn on the SCR. In this, we are going to use the isolation transformer, means the cost of the transformer is more. So the disadvantage of AC gate triggering is cost is more. So we are going to consider the third type of gate triggering, that is pulse gate triggering. In this method, we are going to apply the pulses at regular time intervals at the gate terminal. Then we are going to turn on the SCR. Okay, this is one of the reliable method, and in all practical applications we are going to use this type of triggering. This is about the different types of gate triggerings. About commutation. Coming to learning objectives, after completing this tutorial, you will be able to know what is the concept of commutation, types of commutation methods, types of forced commutation, applications of commutation, and introduction to control of devices. Coming to concept of commutation, the concept of commutation is exactly opposite to the concept of triggering. Triggering is nothing but the process of turning on the SCR. Okay, this concept we have already discussed in previous video. If you want to know about the concept of triggering and types of triggering, find the link in the description. Coming to commutation, the process of turn off the SCR is nothing but commutation, and the turning off of SCR can be achieved in two ways. Those are, first one is the by making the current flowing through SCR below the holding current. Here the holding current is nothing but the minimum current required to turn off the SCR. That is, by making the current flowing through SCR below this holding current, we can get the turning off of SCR. Similarly, by making the input voltage to 0, okay, by using this concept also we can make the SCR into off state. This is about concept and ways for making the SCR into off state. Coming to types of commutation methods mainly classified into two types. Those are, first one is the natural commutation and second one is the forced commutation. Now we are going to discuss about these methods in detail. Coming to first method of commutation, that is natural commutation. It is also known as line commutation. The commutation in which SCR can be turned off without using any external circuit is called natural commutation. Okay. The concept of this natural commutation is very simple. That is, if input is AC, okay, this is the waveform for AC voltage. Okay, if input is AC, this AC becomes 0 for every half cycle. That is, this is the 0 and this is the ending of first half cycle. Okay, at the ending of first half cycle, input becomes 0. Similarly, ending of second half cycle input becomes 0. Ending of third half cycle also input becomes 0. Means for every half cycle input becomes 0. If input becomes 0 means current flowing through SCR is 0. Current flowing through SCR is 0 means SCR comes from forward conducting mode to forward blocking mode, and it is in off state means SCR is commutated. This is the concept of natural commutation. Coming to second type of commutation, that is forced commutation. It is also known as load commutation, and it is defined as the commutation in which SCR can be turned off by using some external circuit. Means by using some external circuits we are going to turn off the SCR. Okay. The concept of forced commutation is very simple. That is, if input is DC, this is the DC input waveform. Okay. This DC input waveform never comes to 0, means the magnitude of DC input is constant with respect to time. It never comes to 0. If we want to make this DC input to 0, we have to use some external circuits. Means by using some external circuits we are going to force this input to 0. Okay. If input becomes 0 means the current flowing through SCR becomes 0. If current flowing through SCR becomes 0 means SCR comes from forward conducting mode to forward blocking mode, and it is in off state means SCR is commutated. This is the concept of forced commutation. Coming to types of forced commutation, depending upon the type of the circuits we are going to use for turning off the SCR, forced commutations are mainly classified into 6 types. Those are from class A to class F, that is class A commutation, class B commutation, class C commutation, class D, class E, and finally class F commutation. In this, from class A to class E, we are going to use the input as DC voltage, and for class F commutation we are going to use the input as AC supply. Okay, this is about the types of forced commutations. Coming to applications of commutation, natural commutation is mainly used in rectifiers and AC voltage regulators. That is, rectifier is a circuit which converts AC to DC, means the input for a rectifier is AC. Similarly, AC voltage regulator is a circuit which converts fixed AC voltage to variable AC voltage by maintaining the frequency as constant. In this also input is AC. So, natural commutation is mainly used in rectifiers and AC voltage regulators. And coming to forced commutation applications, we can find the forced commutation applications in inverters and choppers. If we consider inverter, it is a circuit which converts DC voltage to AC voltage, means here input is the DC. Similarly, if we consider chopper, it is a circuit which converts fixed DC voltage to variable DC voltage. In this also input is DC. So, forced commutation mainly used in inverters and choppers. This is about the applications of commutation. Coming to control on and control off power semiconductor devices. The common examples for control on and control off power semiconductor devices are BJT or BPT, that is bipolar junction transistor, or BPT is nothing but bipolar power transistor, and second one is a MOSFET, that is metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, and third one is the IGBT, that is integrated or IGBT, integrated or insulated gate bipolar junction transistor. These are the examples for control on and control off power semiconductor devices, that is BJT, MOSFET and IGBT. Coming to the concept of series and parallel connections of SCRs, in that first one is series connections of SCRs. Okay, before going to the concept, we have to know the what is the use of series connection of SCRs. Coming to use, by connecting the SCRs in series, we can increase the voltage rating of a string. By increasing the voltage rating, we can meet the requirement of high amount of voltages. That is nothing but by connecting the SCRs in series, the overall voltage rating is increases. By increasing the voltage rating, we can meet the requirement of high amount of voltages. Okay, by connecting SCRs in series, we have to meet some specific conditions. Those conditions are: first condition is all SCRs should have the same voltage ratings. Means in order to connect the SCRs in series, first condition is all the SCRs should have the same voltage ratings. Second one is the all the SCRs should have the same current rating, and third condition is all the SCRs should be manufactured by the same company. These are the conditions. Okay, if the SCRs meets these conditions, then only we can connect the SCRs in series. Coming to the problems while connecting the SCRs in series. If we consider any power semiconductor device, even though all the power semiconductor devices having the same voltage and current ratings, then also there is a difference in static VI characteristics of power semiconductor device. This difference in static VI characteristics leads to major problems. Those problems are: first one is the unequal distribution of voltages across the SCRs which are connected in series, and second one is the difference in reverse recovery characteristics. These are the two major problems. Now we are going to discuss how we are going to nullify these two problems if the SCRs are connected in series. The reason for unequal distribution of voltages across the SCRs is the unequal leakage resistances of the SCRs. Okay, due to unequal leakage resistances of SCRs, we are going to face the unequal distribution of voltages across the SCRs. By making the leakage resistances, of SCRs can be equal, then we can get the equal distribution of voltages across the SCRs. Okay, this equal distribution of voltages means equal distribution of leakage resistances can be obtained by using one network. That network is called the static equalizing network. By using this network, we are going to make the leakage resistances are equal. By making the leakage resistances of SCRs are equal, we are going to get the equal distribution of voltages across the SCRs. Now we are going to discuss about what is static equalizing network. It is defined as the combination of SCR and parallel external resistance. The combination of SCR and parallel external resistance is called the static equalizing network. The representation of static equalizing network is like this. Okay, this is the SCR, and which is having the parallel external resistance. Okay, this is our SCR, and this is the external resistance. This combination is called the static equalizing network. Now by using this network, we are going to make the leakage resistances are equal. Then we are going to get the equal distribution of voltages across the SCRs which are connected in series. Coming to second problem, in series combination of SCRs is the difference in reverse recovery characteristics. The reason for difference in reverse recovery characteristics is unequal junction capacitances. By making these junction capacitances are equal, we can nullify the difference in reverse recovery characteristics. Okay, that is by connecting by connecting capacitor across each SCRs which are connected in series, we are going to make the junction capacitances are equal. Okay, by making the junction capacitances are equal, we are going to nullify the difference in reverse recovery characteristics. Okay, the combination of SCR and parallel capacitor, the combination of SCR and parallel capacitor is called the dynamic equalizing network. That is represented as, this is the SCR which is having the parallel connected capacitor. Okay, this combination is called the dynamic equalizing network. Okay, by using this network, we are going to nullify the second problem, that is difference in reverse recovery characteristics. This is about static and dynamic equalizing networks. Coming to parallel connection of SCRs, by connecting the SCRs in series, we can increase the voltage rating, then we can meet the high amount of voltage requirements. Similarly, by connecting the SCRs in parallel, we can increase the current rating, then we can meet the high amount of current requirements. Thus the use of parallel connection of SCRs. For a power semiconductor devices, even though power semiconductor devices having same voltage and current ratings, then also there is a difference in static VI characteristics. Okay, this is the problem of power semiconductor devices. This difference in static VI characteristics causes the flowing of unequal currents, through the SCRs which are connected in parallel. Okay, these unequal currents causes the increase in junction temperatures. Okay, this increase in junction temperature causes the damage to the SCR. So we have to protect the SCR from the high junction temperatures. So in order to protect the SCR from high junction temperatures, we have to connect one resistor in series to the each SCR which are connected in parallel. Then we can decrease these junction temperatures, and we also make the equal flowing of currents through the SCRs which are connected in parallel. This is about the parallel connection of SCR. Coming to formulae related to series and parallel connection of SCRs. In that, first formula is string efficiency and second one is the derating factor. Here string efficiency gives the utilization of SCRs which are connected in a string, and derating factor gives the degree of reliability of SCRs which are connected in a string. Here string efficiency is denoted by neta S and derating factor is represented as df. Here we are having string efficiency for series connected as well as parallel connected SCRs, and the formula for derating factor is given as derating factor is equal to 1 minus string efficiency. These are the formulas related to series and parallel connected SCRs. These are some of the other types of power semiconductor devices. In that, first one is the LASCR, that is light activated silicon control rectifier. Second one is the MCT, mass control thyristor. Next one is the TRIAC, that is bidirectional triode thyristor. GTO, gate turn off thyristor. SITH, that is static induction thyristor. GCT, gate commutated thyristor. ETO, that is emitter turn off thyristor, and finally RCT, that is reverse conducting thyristor. These are the some of the other types of power semiconductor devices. Now we are going to discuss about basics of diode or power diode. Okay, here diode or power diode is the example for uncontrolled on and uncontrolled off power semiconductor device. It is a two-layer, two-terminal single junction power semiconductor device, And the major applications of diode or power diode are rectification, battery charging, freewheeling, etc. Coming to types of power diodes, depending upon some factors, that is depending upon the recovery characteristics and manufacturing techniques, these power diodes classified into three types. Power diodes are classified into three types. Those are, first one is the general purpose PN junction diode, second one is the fast recovery diodes, and third one is the Schottky diodes. Now we are going to discuss about these type of diodes in detail. Coming to first type of diode, that is general purpose PN junction diode. These type of diodes are mainly used in low frequency applications. The example for low frequency applications is rectification. Here rectification is nothing but the process of converting AC voltage to DC voltage. In this process, these type of diodes are mainly used. And coming to current handling capacity of general purpose PN junction diode is from low current values to high current values, that is from 0 amperes to 4.5 kiloamperes. Similarly, coming to voltage handling capacity of general purpose diode is 50 volts to 6 kilovolts. And this type of diode having one disadvantage, that is it having the high reverse recovery time. This is about the general purpose PN junction diode. Coming to second type of diode, that is fast recovery diodes. The disadvantage in general purpose diode can be overcome by using fast recovery diode. That is, this type of diode having the very less reverse recovery time, that is from 0.1 to 5 microseconds. And fast recovery diodes mainly used in high frequency applications. The example for high frequency applications is DC to AC converters, that is nothing but inverters. In inverters we mainly used fast recovery diodes, and the voltage handling capacity of this diode is 6000 volts and current handling capacity is 1.1 kiloamperes or 1100 amperes. Coming to third type of diode, that is Schottky diode. Schottky diode is same as the PN junction diode, but only difference is PN junction diode having the forward voltage drop is from 0.6 volt to 1 volts. 0.6 volts to 1 volt. But coming to Schottky diode, the forward voltage drop is very less, that is from 0.3 volts to 0.4 volts. That is the major advantage of using the Schottky diode. And the reverse recovery time of this Schottky diode also very small, that is typically in nanoseconds. And these type of diodes are mainly used in high current and low voltage applications. The current capacity of Schottky diode is 300 amperes and low voltage. The voltage handling capacity is from 100 volts to 400 volts. This Schottky diode is mainly used in high current and low voltage applications. The example for high current and low voltage applications are DC power supply. And this diode having the disadvantage of it in reverse bias, it has large reverse leakage current. This is the disadvantage of Schottky diode. Coming to symbol and construction, PN junction diode is a two-layer, two-terminal, single junction power semiconductor device. This is the construction of PN junction diode, which is having two layers. That is, first layer is the P material and second layer is the N material having the two terminals, that is anode and cathode. In between P material and N material we are having the junctions J. This is about the construction. And coming to electrical symbol, this is the electrical symbol for PN junction diode. That is, this terminal is anode and this terminal is the cathode. Okay, that is these things. Okay, this is the symbol of diode and this is the construction. In between P material and N material we are having the region or junction J, and this terminal is the terminal which is connected to P layer is the anode, terminal which is connected to the N layer is the cathode, and this is the electrical symbol. Here this is the anode and this is cathode. Coming to working of PN junction diode, the working of PN junction diode can be explained in two cases. Coming to first case, in first case we are going to apply the positive voltage across anode and cathode. By applying the positive voltage, anode becomes the positive and cathode becomes the negative. Here anode is connected to P layer and this P layer having the holes are the majority charge carriers. Holes are nothing but positive charge carriers. And similarly cathode is connected to N material. So here N layer having the electrons are the majority charge carriers. Majority charge carriers. Here anode is positive and P layer having the positive charge carriers are the majority charge carriers. So there is a repulsive force between these two charge carriers. Due to the repulsive force, these holes trying to cross the junction. This is the junction. Similarly, here cathode is negative and N layer having the negative charge carriers are the majority charge carriers. Here also there is a repulsive force between the same charge carriers and these electrons trying to cross the junction. If we increase the voltage between anode and cathode, at particular voltage the width of junction J is decreases and it allows the flowing of current from anode to cathode. The voltage at which junction J is breakdowns means coming to forward bias is called forward breakdown voltage. That is the first case. In first case, diode act as a short circuit. And coming to second case. In second case, we are going to apply the negative voltage between anode and cathode. Negative voltage between anode and cathode. That is nothing but, in second case, we are going to apply the negative voltage between anode and cathode. That is, anode is the negative and cathode is positive. Again same thing, that is anode is connected to P material, that is P layer having the holes are the majority charge carriers. Similarly here cathode is connected to N layer having the electrons are the majority charge carriers. Here anode is negative and P layer having the positive charge carriers. So there is an attractive force between negative and positive charge carriers. So these holes trying to move this side. And similarly the electrons which are present in the N layer can be attracted by the cathode, that is positive terminal. So holes are moving left side and electrons are moving right side, means the width of this junction is going to increase. Which does not allow the flowing of current from anode to cathode. So in this case diode act as a open switch. If we further increase the voltage between anode and cathode, means if we further increase the negative voltage between anode and cathode, at particular voltage this junction breakdowns and it allows the large amount of negative voltage. It allows the flowing of large amount of negative voltage. This large amount of negative voltage may damage the diode. Okay, this is about the working of PN junction diode. That is, in first case we are going to apply the positive voltage. So it comes into forward bias and act as a short circuit. In second case we are going to apply the negative voltage. It comes in reverse bias and act as a open circuit. Now by using this analysis we are going to draw the characteristics of diode. Coming to characteristics, consider x and y axis, consider voltage on x axis and current on y axis. In first case, we are going to apply the positive voltage. In first case, we are going to apply the positive voltage. Due to the positive voltage, we are going to get the small amount of current up to certain voltage. Okay, after reaching this voltage, that is nothing but the after reaching the breakdown voltage, diode comes into forward bias and current is increases by increasing the voltage. That is the first case. In second case, we are going to apply the negative voltage. Due to the application of negative voltage, diode acts as an open circuit and it allows the only minority charge current, that is very small amount of current or zero current. If we further increase this negative voltage, at particular voltage breakdown occurs and this negative current is suddenly increases. This negative current is suddenly increases. This voltage is called the reverse breakdown voltage, VBR. Okay, this is the high amount of reverse leakage current. Okay, this is forward biased condition and this is the reverse biased condition of PN junction diode. Same thing can be represented here, that is this is the positive voltage and this is the negative voltage on x-axis. Similarly, current on y-axis. And this is the forward biased condition and this is the reverse bias condition. Okay, these are the values for forward breakdown voltage or voltage drop, and these are the currents. Okay, for germanium material, the forward voltage drop is 0.3 and for silicon 0.7 volts. Okay, this is about VI characteristics of PN junction diode. Coming to applications of power diodes having the so many applications, but these are the important applications of power diodes. First one is the rectification. In rectification process, we are going to use the power diodes. Second one is the freewheeling process. Third one is the energy feedback, and fourth one is the converters, that is choppers and inverters. We are going to use the power diodes, and finally power supply. These are some of the major applications of power diodes.